In war, the impossible sometimes becomes the only option for survival. High above the frozen fields of Germany, with flak tearing the sky apart and engines dying, two crippled B-17 bombers did something no flight manual had ever prepared them for. They flew as one. The morning of February 9, 1945, was bitterly cold. Captain William "Tex" Carter flexed his gloved fingers around the yoke of his B-17 Flying Fortress, Lucky Lady, as they climbed toward 25,000 feet. The mission was routine, at least on paper: bomb a rail yard outside Dresden and limp back to England. Tex wasn't buying it. "Routine," he muttered, adjusting his oxygen mask. "Nothing's routine when flak's thicker than crows at harvest." In the adjacent bomber, Widowmaker, flew Lieutenant Jack "Sparky" Dalton, a brash 23-year-old with more guts than sense. He was new to the 398th Bomb Group, but his reputation for aggressive flying had already circulated. Their formation of B-17s thundered east, engines roaring, the morning sun casting them in silver glory. But Tex's gut coiled tighter with every mile. Something was wrong, he could feel it. Over the target, hell erupted. Flak shells bloomed like black flowers in the sky. Tex's bomber shuddered as shards of steel slammed into the fuselage. Oxygen lines hissed. One of the port engines sputtered, belching smoke. "Engine 2's gone," shouted his co-pilot, Andy Bishop. Tex cursed, holding the yoke steady. Through the chaos, he spotted Widowmaker spiraling below, its right wing shredded by flak, flames licking along the fuselage. "Sparky's hit bad," Andy said, grimacing. Tex's eyes flicked over the falling bomber. Half its tail was gone. No way it was making it back. But Sparky hadn't bailed. The bomber spun, but somehow he was fighting for control. Then Tex's own plane jolted violently. The Lucky Lady had taken another hit, worse this time. Hydraulic fluid gushed. The controls went sluggish. Tex fought the yoke as the bomber dipped, falling toward Widowmaker like a dying bird. "Brace!" Tex yelled. For a terrifying moment, both crippled bombers collided, not nose to nose, but fuselage to fuselage, their bellies scraping with a sickening grind of metal. Silence fell, eerie, almost surreal, as the two planes locked together in mid-air. "Jesus!" Andy whispered. "We're stuck." The left wing of Widowmaker had jammed against the ruined tail section of Lucky Lady, locking them in a deadly embrace. Two B-17s, piggybacking at 15,000 feet, with enemy territory sprawling below. In the distance, German fighters circled like vultures. "Tex, we gotta bail!" Andy shouted. But Tex wasn't listening. He was staring at Widowmaker. Through the shattered cockpit window, Sparky's eyes met his. Blood streaked the young pilot's face, but his expression burned with defiance. Sparky keyed his radio. Static crackled, then his strained voice came through. "Can't hold it alone. If we work together." Tex's mind raced. The interlocked bombers, neither could fly independently. But together, maybe, just maybe, they could stay in the air. "Andy, patch me into their controls," Tex barked, snapping into command mode. "Sparky and I are gonna fly this Frankenstein bird home." For the next harrowing minutes, Tex and Sparky became one crew, two cockpits, one insane plan. Tex handled elevation and banking, using what little control remained on Lucky Lady. Sparky managed thrust and minor stabilizing inputs from Widowmaker. The crews moved between bombers through the narrow, twisted gap where the planes connected, sharing tools, patching hydraulic lines, tending to the wounded. Fear laced every word, but duty welded them together. Tex learned Sparky wasn't just a hotshot, he was sharp, resourceful. And Sparky saw past Tex's grizzled exterior. The old war dog still had steel in his veins. But their fragile miracle was unraveling fast. Fuel leaked. Engine fires flickered. Worse, a squadron of German Focke-Wulf 190s peeled toward them, eager to finish the crippled beasts. "Tex," Sparky radioed, his voice tight, "we're sitting ducks." Tex's eyes narrowed. They weren't dead yet. Tex shoved the throttles. The makeshift, conjoined bomber groaned, but the engine screamed louder. "Time to play dead," Tex muttered. The German fighters closed in, guns sparkling. Tex banked sharply, but not to evade. Instead, he angled the double bomber downward, smoke trailing like a dying phoenix. To the enemy, it looked like two shattered hulks falling from the sky, another pair of kills for their tally. But as they fell, Tex and Sparky rode the dive, eking every ounce of speed from their crippled frames. Altitude dropped. So did hope. "Level out now," Tex roared. With a final coordinated pull on their respective controls, both pilots leveled the hybrid bomber just above treetop height. The Focke-Wulfs overshot, diving past their target. Cheers erupted over the radio, but it wasn't over. The ground approached, fast. A frozen river carved through the German countryside below. "Water landing," Sparky offered weakly. "More like controlled crash," Tex shot back. Together, they guided the monstrous, fused bomber toward the icy surface. Metal screamed. The Lucky Lady and Widowmaker skidded across the frozen river, plowing through snow and ice. The world tilted. The bombers lurched, then ground to a brutal, shuddering halt. For a heartbeat, all was still. Tex clawed off his oxygen mask. Snow filtered into the shattered cockpit. His ears rang. His body ached. But he was alive. Sparky stumbled out of Widowmaker, bloodied but grinning. The surviving crew poured out, shaken, battered, but breathing. Tex met Sparky halfway, offering his hand. "Hell of a stunt, kid." Sparky shook it, laughing breathlessly. "Couldn't we done it without you, Texas?" Above them, the battered remains of the two B-17s rested, locked together, scarred by war, but defiant. In the distance, Allied tanks rumbled toward them. Rescue was coming. And their impossible flight, the day two flying fortresses flew piggyback, would be a legend no one would believe, but everyone would remember.